Hey, what is going on? It is BootlessSkadi here, and I'm bringing you a League of Legends champion guide here for Ryze. This is the updated version of one I previously made, um, but I thought I'd revisit it and hopefully create something of a bit better quality than the other one because that was when I was starting out and it wasn't great. Um, so I'm just gonna say I started off getting a Sapphire crystal instead of boots because Ryze's spells, some of them, not all of them, I think, but some of them get bonus magic damage based on the maximum amount of mana he has. So obviously getting a bit of extra mana means he actually has more damage he can do, but he's also got more mana for more spells, sort of thing. So I'll just quickly run down his spells themselves. His passive means that whenever he casts a spell, he reduces the cooldown of all the other spells by 1 second. Um, Q or Overload is it's just like a bolt that's fired that's a straight up damage doer. Um, W is Rune Prison, which is a snare and also deals damage. E is Spell Flux, which is it like bounces between multiple enemies and reduces their magic resistance. And his ultimate R is it increases his spell vamp and gives the spells an AoE effect whilst active, which is quite handy because he doesn't have an AoE like really other than spell flux, which doesn't do a lot. So I'm gonna get straight into it and what I think Ryze is the best for, and this is a perfect demonstration of it straight away. From level 1, if you get Overload, you've got a constant harass because it's not got a big mana cost. It's quite a quick cast and you can just dip in, do a bit of harass and that sort of thing, and you've got that as soon as you start, which is pretty sick. He is fairly weak early game though in actually picking up a kill or anything because he can't do enough damage. They've really got to mess up for you to be able to clock them and actually do enough damage to kill a champion. He is slightly weak. Another con of Ryze, I would say, is the fact that he's lacking an AoE ability. Unless you pop your ultimate, you can't actually do a lot, which is it's a bit of a problem. But there you go. That's something you just sort of have to deal with. Once you have got all of your spells though unlocked as you level up, he is a great one-on-one champion. And a quick tip I'm going to throw out there is that if you use your Q and then either the E or the W, as I've got it set up here, you might have a keybind is different, but and then once you've used both E and Q in whichever order you prefer, really depends if you want to lower their magic resistance then snare them, or if you're worried that they might get away, you snare them straight away. That will actually, in doing that, will completely get rid of the cooldown for your Q again, so you're able to do sort of like your Q, W, E, Q, which is just like a huge amount of burst damage straight away, which is pretty sick, which means that certainly once you get a bit later on in the mid game, you can just wreck champions with one big burst of damage, which is it's pretty good fun. Another great bonus of Ryze is that he's actually got great sustain in lane. You can spend ages in lane just getting your creep farm on, that sort of thing, which is great because then you've got a gold advantage and maybe a bit of a level advantage, and then once you've got that with Ryze, it's GG, game over pretty much. Also, an extra feature I quite like about Ryze is the fact that all of his cooldowns are very low, because every time you use a spell you reduce the cooldowns of the other ones. So it's well, I don't want to say you can just spam your spells, but you sort of can in a way, because it reduces the cooldown of the other ones. You get so much mana anyway because that's what increases your magic damage. You don't really go for ability power so much, which means that you can just keep casting spells and you can stay in lane for ages, which is it's pretty good fun. And also right towards the end of the game he gets extremely tanky. If you've got a level 18 Ryze, and say you've still got some champion that's a level 14, 15, 16, they're just going to get bullied. So that's probably not so fun to play against, but it's great fun to play as Ryze. He's also not a particularly difficult champion to just sort of pick up and be able to play after a couple of games. So if you're sort of fairly new to League of Legends as well, I would recommend that you go for Ryze. But this has been a fairly quick fire guide to using Ryze. I'll put some information in the description about sort of what items to buy and stuff from the shop, that sort of thing. Feel free to follow me on Twitter, like, comment, all the good stuff. Feedback's much appreciated, and I shall see you in the next episode.